I've got a lot of respect for the Green Party of England and Wales. I've voted for them before. I like plenty of their policies, and I do regard myself as an environmentalist. As a political movement, I do think they have their priorities, basically speaking, in good order. I've read a fair bit of their literature before, read their most recent manifesto. Like any political party, I don't agree with everything they say. I'm an individual and an independent thinker, and I will revise my beliefs when called for, when I think it's reasonable to do so. I sense I'm not quite as far left as many who follow the Greens. If you actually take the time to look at their energy policies and economic policies, it's quite a different kind of society being proposed than the one we live in right now. There are good ideas and not so good ones, not so realistic ones, in my opinion. The way in which the party is supported financially is strikingly different also from the way some parties or organisations make their money. The energy policy is well detailed and very ambitious. Yeah. But, we do need massive change, and I speak for myself here when I say yes, we do need to swiftly phase out fossil fuel use and bring in clean and sustainable and renewable energy to the full. Okay, so the Greens, the Green Party, what do they want to do? They want to tackle inequality, bring the highest and the lowest wage closer together. They want to close tax loopholes and come down on tax dodgers. They want to increase public spending. The theme is for the common good. They want to increase public sector jobs, scrap tuition fees, which not every party wants to do, of course. The leader of the Greens, Natalie Bennett, has called on voters to create a peaceful political revolution, and she is offering a politics founded in humanity. The party wants to bring an end to austerity, the era of austerity we find ourselves in. Looking at some of the rhetoric, if I were a wealthy banker, I wouldn't be voting Green. Every political party has to at least pretend to be concerned about the environment now in the modern age, don't they? Why? Because it's a massive concern. It's a concern to the electorate. It's a very important issue. I see the Greens as having the edge on other parties in one respect, in terms of the environment, at least in the minds of many voters, that is. The Greens say they want to make mental health a greater priority. They're not the only party saying this. It really should be a greater priority. I had some mental health issues myself several years ago, and I was not at all happy with how I was treated. If the way I was treated was typical, then we've got big problems here in the UK. Did I mention the Greens want to increase the minimum wage to a living wage of at least £10? Yeah. That's £10 an hour, I assume. Yeah. Alright, so the issue of nuclear power. There was a time when I was against all nuclear power, being more well informed now, I don't think it's a reasonable position to hold in light of the weight of research I've put in. I oppose nuclear weapons, of course. There is no reasonable argument for the possession of weapons of mass destruction, and of course it has to be said that not all nuclear power generation is safe or clean. Accidents do happen, accidents have happened, but nuclear power generation, it can be safe and clean. The Green Party's outright opposition to all things nuclear, and they're not the only organisation that's against all things nuclear, it's not a reasonable position. I would say it's a political, ideological position. But many movements of the left and of the right, they tend to get trapped in ideological positions, don't they? And I can understand how this can be off-putting to many voters. I get it. I would say that nuclear power does have a role to play in the future of not just this country but Europe and the world. How big of a role, I don't know. But we have to tread with great caution. So, yeah. My mind has somewhat changed on that one over time. A shift has occurred. I know it isn't popular, but let's remember the sun itself, our local star, is nuclear fusion, so we wouldn't be here without nuclear power. On a side note, I'm not impressed by the Greens' policy to try and stop so-called lads mags and pornography from being sold in newsagents and supermarkets. I don't see that as a progressive stance. If you want to tackle what you see as media sexism, well and good. Yeah. Pressuring retailers not to sell sexually titillating material. I would say, speaking as a voter, the party should rethink that one. I suspect that underneath the surface, as well-meaning as it may be, there's something of a sex-negative, prudish, fear-driven core to a policy like this one. But I admit I might be wrong. Yeah. Perhaps a Green Party member or supporter will see this video and respond to it at some point. Yeah. Okay folks, please rate, comment and subscribe. And on that, I shall bid you a good day, folks. All the best. Peace.